Wikipedia. Perhaps the most popular encyclopedia of all time, frequently among the top most visited sites in the world. It's the site that most people get their information from. It's probably where half the videos you watch get their scripts from. Needless to say, it's not hard for an error on Wikipedia to spread. Obvious errors like vandalism are usually pretty easy to spot and fix. But what about when the error is an image? Even worse, what if the image representing a whole country is incorrect? Go to the Wikipedia page of any obscure country and you'll be greeted with an info box of all the most important information. This is the area that is quickly referenced. For most people, this is where research starts and stops, and whatever is in the info box is written in stone. Now, what if that flag on display is subtly wrong? What if that flag never even existed? Here's some times that Wikipedia got the flag wrong, and in some cases completely changed public perception. Austria-Hungary, or the Austro-Hungarian monarchy, or empire, was a constitutional dual monarchy and European great power that existed from 1867 to 1918. It was the second largest country in Europe and the third most populous. It was one of the major belligerents of the First World War, and surely this was its flag. It makes perfect sense. You have Austria and you have Hungary, and if you checked Wikipedia on September 3rd, 2003 or later, you probably saw this flag there too. However, this is not the national flag of Austria-Hungary. For one, the Compromise of 1867, which established the dual monarchy, stipulated that Austria and Hungary were two sovereign states. These states were united in real union under the same monarch, i.e., two states with common financial, military, and foreign policy, and the same king, but otherwise, different governments and administrations, and different flags. Therefore, they had no one flag, but rather each part of the union had its own. The kingdoms and lands represented in the Imperial Council, also known as Cisleithania, used a black and yellow flag that represented the Habsburg monarchy. If anything, as the flag of the monarchy, this flag was the closest Austria-Hungary had to an empire-wide flag, and was sometimes informally used as such. More often than not, if you look at propaganda or art from the time period, you'll often see this flag used. Within Cisleithania, the eponymous Archduchy of Austria used the red-white-red triband associated with Austria to this day. Meanwhile, there was the lands of the Crown of St. Stephen, also known as Transleithania, which did not legally have one flag. Per the Croatian-Hungarian settlement of 1868, Hungary and Croatia displayed their respective flags jointly. But then where'd that other flag come from? This is actually the civil ensign of the dual monarchy. The flag flown by civilian and merchant vessels, the flag used by non-military ships and boats, never a national flag. It might have made a lot of sense as a national flag. After all, it is the Austrian flag and the Hungarian flag taken and combined. However, this was not the case. It's easy to get caught up in the contemporary view that every country is supposed to be one discrete unit with the same common elements, a singular rectangular flag, a singular fixed capital, but the truth is, the situation of Austria-Hungary was far more complicated, and in such a tenuous political landscape, such a national flag would have been pretty difficult to propose. Back to Wikipedia, where every country needs a single flag right at the top of the page. At some point in the site's early years, probably around 2003, this flag began circulating as the flag of Austria-Hungary, or an alternate version with no coats of arms, but that's a separate debate. This is so early the modern infobox doesn't even exist yet. It's a simple error to make, and more likely than not, Wikipedia did not invent this error, but they're about to make it explode in popularity. Debates raged among the Wikipedians going back to at least 2004, the incorrect flag being removed multiple times. On some versions, there was early attempts to explain the complicated flag situation in an infobox, like this version from January 2006. Around September, files called Austria-Hungary flag 1869-1918, or flag of Austria-Hungary, start widely appearing. Then on November 19, 2006, the modern infobox is added, with the incorrect flag proudly displayed. For a time, this goes back and forth. You see versions where it's called the flag, others where it's called the civil ensign, but whether correctly labeled or not, the flag is still displayed in the infobox, giving a false impression to anyone casually browsing that this is the flag. And a couple people like this guy even try to remove the flag entirely, correctly assessing it to be the flag of merchant ships. Leaving the civil ensign up, but labeled, seems to win out. And from 2007 to October 2020, 13 years, the civil ensign is displayed in the info box. But debate continues to flare up. In 2019, a user proposed displaying two flags like so, but this fails to pass. The status quo tentatively remains another year. August 2020, another debate erupts, and this time it leads to these two flags in October. Around 2 months later, another debate breaks out, then another in 2021. People have become so accustomed to the civil ensign, they're wondering what happened to it. Another long debate and vote, and again no consensus. Various people take it upon themselves to restore the civil ensign. an edit war begins. There has been absolutely zero consensus among the community to eliminate the civil ensign from the info box. If anything, the discussions on the talk page suggest that this bizarre attempt to remove the archive talk plus the national flags have precedence over maritime ensigns as flag of the country. Changing this back again. Please see talk page. The civil ensign has been agreed upon as the flag to list in the info box. No. The discussion in archive talk section agreed on using the national flags and agreed that there is no reason to use a civil ensign over official national flags. The discussions held in previous years about changing the flag in the info box featured many proposals and did not reach consensus. I would like a clear proposal to be submitted so a vote can be held, similar to the discussions also missed that the civil ensign is the flag most widely associated with AH today. You expose yourself as a Wikipedia brain as you repeat the fallacy that the civil ensign is most associated with AH today. This is only the case because Wikipedia has arbitrarily used this flag as the flag of Austria-Hungary on this article for many years before the correction that placed the national flags and stopped the forcing of the empire into a modern country mold. I am sick of people changing the flags back. It is incorrect. The civil ensign I have attached was the legal civil ensign of the Austro-Hungarian Empire from its formation until its dissolution. Yes, the Austrian and Hungarian separate flags were also in use, but look to any old postcard and document and you will see the ensign of Austria-Hungary clearly attached. Unexplained collateral damage, disruptive editing as regards to flags. I'm afraid only an RFC on that would fix this. Reverting flag vandalism. Revert to Reddit. Enough of the edit warring. There is clearly no consensus to change this flag back. Make your case in the talk page and explain to the dozens of editors who are against this radical move why it should be done. Or let's take this to arbitration. Revert from flag only used at sea to actual national flags, as per discussion on talk. Thinking the civil ensign was equivalent to the flag of Austria-Hungary because of being brainwashed by an uncorrected Wikipedia article? LOL! Or wanting it to be easier are not a valid reasons to replace the actual national flags of the dual monarchy with a maritime ensign. Even if certain votes were invalid, the ensign held a comfortable majority. If all votes were invalid, then the flag should revert to the previous default. The ensign reverts your edit. No consensus equals no flag equals no edit warring. Hopefully, revert your edit, revert your edit, revert your edit. Add comment to prevent future silliness. I know, Austria-Hungary did not have a common flag, but why don't we put its civil flag? It's a flag too. Revert your edit, revert your edit. Locks page. Finally, we arrive at the modern day arrangement. No flag, but there's a link to a dedicated flags page. And ultimately, this may make the most sense. If there's no national flag, then display no flag, but link to a page explaining in greater detail. This seems to be the final compromise based on months of debating and editing. Just kidding, this guy decided to unilaterally try this out. Revert to edit. Re-adding the most commonly used de facto flag. Revert to edit. This is how the page remains on English Wikipedia to this day. What is the legacy of this battle? Well, for the better part of 20 years, the civil ensign was at the top of the page, undoubtedly giving a whole generation of people the impression this was the official flag. This is obvious during the edit warring, where countless new users waltzed in, unaware of the months of debate, and added the civil ensign back, simply because that's what they were used to. Search up flag of Austria-Hungary, it appears right at the top. This flag is used erroneously all across the internet, made into physical flags, no doubt supported by people checking Wikipedia first. This still reverberates across Wikipedia as well, as hundreds of pages still have the flag in use. Some of these could be a matter of it not being removed yet, but most are the result of Wikipedia's style of using flags and info boxes to show national allegiances. This works well most of the time, assuming every nation will conveniently have one symbol, but in situations where there is no national flag or symbol, at least as they're conceptualized today, this can lead to some pretty anachronistic or dubious inclusions. As for Austria-Hungary, Wikipedia's solution seems to be to use a mix of flags, war pages employing a naval ensign or war flag for sea and land respectively, individuals using either the Austrian or Hungarian flag depending on their origin within the dual monarchy, and if a single flag absolutely must be used, such as on the World War I page, they used the Habsburg flag. The Confederation of the Rhine. Established at the command of Napoleon, it was a confederation of French client states in modern-day Germany, which existed from 1806 to 1813. At its greatest extent in 1808, it looks something like this. And if you happen to check Wikipedia for more information in the 2000s or early 2010s, you'd see that they flew this flag. The only problem is, this flag is almost certainly fictional. Unattested in any other source, this flag first appeared on a site called flagenlexicon.de and was uploaded to Wikipedia in the mid-2000s. However, unlike the previous example, people couldn't find this flag being used at all. Not in any art, historical images, books, and other sources even stated that the Confederation did not have a flag, leading to the flag having far less support. Nonetheless, the flag remained on the page uninterrupted for 5 years, then intermittently after that, and developed a cult following led by this guy who re-added the flag repeatedly over the next several years. Still, like the previous example, the damage was done. Plenty of people assume this is the official flag. It's reused all across the internet and on other Wikipedia articles, and people occasionally re-add it to the page. Many are completely unaware it might be fictional. Others admit it's only the alleged flag, but think it should be added anyway as the best thing we have. Vatican City. The smallest state in the world by both area and population, Vatican City is an independent city-state with its own symbols, including its own flag. On July 11, 2017, a user uploads a new version of the flag, changing the inside of the papal tiara to red as it is on the Vatican's coat of arms. While it might make sense for the two tiaras to match, per official law, the tiara on the flag is actually supposed to be white. This goes unnoticed until December 28, 2022. When a user finally reverts this error after over 5 years. While the difference is minor compared to previous examples, this case was especially pernicious for affecting a currently existing country rather than a historical entity. This again has repercussions across the internet, with numerous websites copying the flag during the 5-year period, and numerous flags being printed incorrectly.